Hey, how's it going, guys? In this video, we're going to build a data entry form in Excel. Alright, so let me show you the data entry form first. If I go to macro, there's a macro called open data entry form. And if I run the macro, it's going to launch the data entry form. Inside this form, we can perform the data entry task corresponding to this MyIQ spreadsheet. And here I can insert a date. So if I want to enter, let's do February 1st, 2021. And for the time, I'm going to set the time as default. So right now, when the data entry form launch, it's going to use the current time. And here we have a drop down. We can select different values. So for currency, and we're going to choose business. And we can provide business details such as client meeting, and start location, let's do home, and destination, let's do office. Total miles, I'll enter 100 miles. And below are my 3 push buttons. I can also use the shortcut Alt-E to add the entry. Now the entry is added to this spreadsheet. So if we take a quick look, here we have the date, February 1st, 2021, 9 p.m. And the drive classification is business, client meeting, home office, and total miles. And in the last column, so this one is a formula field, so we don't need to manually populate the information. You can also download the Excel template from Microsoft Office templates website. The template name is called MyIQ Mileage Log. So this data entry form is basically what I'm going to create in this video. So right here is a blank MyIQ mileage Excel template. The first thing we want to do is we want to save this regexcel file as macro enabled file. And to do that, we'll save the file. And when you choose the file type, make sure that you select Excel macro enabled workbook and save. Now let's launch the VB window by going to the Developer tab and click on Visual Basic. You can also use the shortcut L11 to launch the VB window. So we'll start by creating the interface. So let's select this workbook, right click, insert. Here we want to choose user form. And it's going to launch a blank window. So this is going to be the user form area where we're going to design our own Excel application. So first thing first, I'm going to press F4 to launch the properties window. So here I want to click on the form and I want to set my default font style. So here I'm going to change my fonts to Open Sans. And also change my default font size to 12. So at this point, every time we add a new control or new widget, the widget font style is going to match to this user form. Here I'm going to rename my user form. I'll name this form FRM Data Entry. And I'll change the background color to something other than light gray. So I do have some default colors. So here I'm going to use this dark green. Let me see if I can put the property window here. Right. So let's go to our toolbox. And if you don't see your toolbox, you can click on this toolbox icon to display the toolbox window. I'll start with the date field, and it's going to be a text box. So I'll select text box, and I'll insert the text box control to my user form. So for the text box, I'm going to change the width to 115. And for the height, let's do 25. And depending on your table, So for my table, I'm going to have, this is going to be a text field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to have 6 text boxes. So I'll make 6 copies. Next, I'm going to grab the label and insert the label to my user form. Here I want to change the label color to white. And I'll drag the label right next to my first text box. I'm going to change the caption to date and colon. Under the text alignment property, I want to align the text to the right. So here I'm going to choose 3, text align right. I'm going to make 5 more copies. Let's see, so here the label left value is going to be 6. So I'll select these 2 labels and I'll manually update the left value to 6. Now all the labels are aligned vertically. And here I just need to manually change the caption. So this is going to be drive classification. I need to increase the width. Right. And for start location and end location, because we can enter information such as an address, so we need to increase the text box width. And it's going to be start location. I'll select these 2 items and I'll make a copy. And it's going to be end location. Actually, let me delete these 3 text boxes. I can simply just highlight the label plus the text box and just make a copy as a set. I'll increase my window width just a little bit. I think the width varies too much. So here, let me change the width to, let's see, let's make a 100. And I'll move the text box to the left a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to change the caption to time, colon. And I'll make a copy of the set. And I'll move the set to right here. And this is going to be business details. And I'll decrease the width of these 2 text boxes. So everything will match evenly. And the last item is the total mileage. And I'll put the text box right here. So we name the caption to total miles. Now let's insert our push buttons. So select command button, insert the button to the user form. So for the push button dimension, let's do, for the width, let's do 85. And for the height, let's do 30. And I'll make 2 more copies. I feel like the push buttons width is a little bit too narrow. So let me increase the width value. Let's do 100. And let me readjust the gap. So this is going to be the push button to add a new entry to the spreadsheet. So I'll rename the push button to CMD, add. I also assign a shortcut key to this push button. And I'll assign the letter A to the shortcut key. And I'll rename the caption to add. And this is going to be reset. So for the push button name, I'll name this CMD reset. And for the shortcut key, I'll send a letter R. And for the caption, this is going to be reset. And the last button is going to be the close button. And this button is going to close the user form. So I'll name the button CMD close. And I will send letter C to the shortcut key. For the caption, I'll type close. Now let's rename the text boxes. So it's going to be txt dates. And it's going to be txt time. And let's name this as txt dc. So drive classification. And we'll name this as txt bd. And this will be txt start location. And this will be txt and location. And finally, I'll name this as txt miles. Oops. And just notice that this field, the drive classification field, should be a combo box. So here, let me fix that. So delete the text box. And from the toolbox, I'll look for a combo box right here. And we grab the width value from the text box. And I'll select the combo box, and I'll change the width to 115. And the height should be 25. Right, so they are the same. And let's move this towards the bottom a little bit. Oops. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And I'll move the push buttons to here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything. I'll reposition everything to fit the user form. And I'll resize the window. Now I'm going to select the user form. In here I want to change the caption to MileIQ, mileage log. And I'll change the user form caption. Now let's take a look at the user form by pressing F5, or you can click on this play icon. And that'll launch the user form. So let me move the button just towards the bottom just a little bit. Right. And let me do one more thing. I need to rename the combo box to combo CBO DC. Alright, so we have officially designed the interface. Now we need to implement the functions. So click on the form and press F7 to go to the code editor. I'm going to rewrite everything from scratch. So the first function I want to implement is when we open the user form. So here I'm going to select user form. And by default, these are different events associated to the user form. So while the user form is select, I want to select initialize. So the initialize event is going to fire when we launch the form. So here I'm going to type with me, and me is going to reference the user form. I want to display the user form right in the center of my screen. So here I'll type that left is equals to application that left. And for the tab value, it's going to be application.tab. Now let's add the items to the combo box or the dropdown. So from this Excel spreadsheet, we have 3 items: business, personal, and commute. So here I'm going to type with .cbo dc. And this is basically a shortcut to reference this combo box object. And inside the word statement, I want to type .add item. And add item means I want to add the entry to the combo box. And we're going to have personal, business, and commute. I also want to create a function or subroutine to reset the fields. And I'm naming the subroutine private sub reset fields. I don't want to make this public since I don't want any user to run this function. So let me launch the user form. So by default, when I launch my user form, I want the dates, the time to be populated. And we can do that by calling this reset fields function. Here, let me increase the font size. Right. And we can do that by inserting with me. So me is referencing the user form. Let's assign the date value first. So we want to say .txt dates to reference the text box .text. And we're going to insert today's date using the dates function. And we don't need to insert the parentheses. And the next item is going to be the time. Here I'm going to type .txt time .text. Here I want to insert the format function. I want to insert the current dates and time by inserting the now function. And here I want to format the value as just the time only. So here I'll type uppercase H, colon, MM, and SS. So this represents hour, minute, and second. And I want to convert this as AM, PM format. And the rest is pretty easy. So we just need to assign the value as empty string. So this is going to be, let's see. And it's going to be business detail. Actually, business details .txt .text. And I'm going to assign empty string. And it's going to be start location and location. And miles. And I can close the properties window since I'm not going to modifying the controls anymore. So at this point, I'm purely just writing VB code. Now we need to reset the combo box to change the selection to the first item. So here I want to reference the combo box .cbo dc list index. And I want to select the first item by assigning 0. And when we clear everything, I want to set my focus to business detail text box. So I'll type .txt bd .set focus. Now I'm going to copy the function name and I'll call the function here. So inside my user form initialize subroutine. Now if I press F5 to launch the user form, so here for some of the fields, such as the date field, time field, and the combo box, it's going to display the default information. Now let me open my Project Explorer. I want to take a look at the user form again. Now what I want to do is I want to assign this reset fields function to the reset push button. And what I can do is I can double click on the reset push button And that takes me to the push button control, followed by the default event. And the default event is going to be the click event, which is what I want. So I'm going to type call reset fields function. And this should be reset fields. And I'll do the same thing to the close button. And to close the user form, we can simply type unload me. So that'll close the user form. And the last task is creating the function to assign to the add push button. So here I'm going to double click on the add push button. Instead of creating the procedure inside the CMD add click event, I want to create a separate function. I'll name this function private sub add entry, just to keep things organized in case if I want to assign multiple functions to this push button. So inside the add entry subroutine, I want to declare my objects and my variables. So here I'm going to type dim ws as worksheet, dim last row as long, and row insert as long. So the ws worksheet object is going to reference in this Excel tab, and the last row variable is going to give me the last entry from this Excel spreadsheet. So here let's create our ws object first. So here I'll type set ws is equals to this workbook dot worksheets. And I want to insert the tab name. So I'll just copy the worksheet name. And when we add something to the Excel spreadsheet, basically we're running kind of like a set of actions. And when I finish running all the actions, I want to set the ws object as nothing to empty out the memory. Now I can reference the 2019 mileage log worksheet by inserting the with statement, ws, and with. I want to grab the last row number first. So here I want to assign the last row value is equals to dot cells rows count. And I want to figure out the last row number based on items in column A. Dot end Excel up dot row. So the last row variable is going to give me 12, indicating 12 is the last item in column A. And because I don't want to override the existing data, I want to assign the row number that I want to insert the entry to the row insert variable. We can simply take the last row value plus 1. And to take all the values from all the controls or widgets, we can simply type dot cells and we insert the row insertion number. And we'll start our entry from column A. So here for the column index, I will type A to reference column A. Dot resize. And resize method allows me to adjust the dimension based on this beginning cell reference. And I have 7 columns. So if we count it, so we have 7 columns that I want to add different information to. Inside the resize function, the first parameter is going to be the row dimension that I want to increase. And since I don't want to increase the row dimension, I'm going to insert 1. And for the column, it's going to be 7 dot value. And to insert a group of values together, I can use the array function. This function will allow me to insert multiple values all together. And when we add the entry to the Excel spreadsheet, we want to reset the fields. So here we can call the reset fields function. And that's it. All right, so let's use the shortcut Control R, or we can go to View and review the Project Explorer window. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to insert a new module. Inside the module, I'll create a subroutine. It's going to be public function, subtype, public sub, and open my IQ form. And my form name is going to be FRM data entry, subtype, FRM data entry .show. We can use this key value, VB Modulus. So basically, oops, yeah, it should be VB Modulus. So what this will do is, here, let me show you. So when I launch the form, I'll be able to select the spreadsheet in the background. And if you remove this this statement, let me close the user form. Then the only information you can change or update is the things on the user form. Now let me close the user form. And this one, what we need to do, we need to take this add entry function and we'll call the function inside the CMD add click event. And that's it. All right, now let's give it a try. So I'm going to save this file. Now go to View, Macros. I'm going to run the open my IQ form macro, and that will display the data entry form. So here I'm going to leave the date value as default. And I'll leave the time as default as well. For the drive classification, I'll change that to business. Business detail, let's do office meeting. For start location, let's do San Francisco, California. And for end location, let's do Chicago, Illinois. And total mile, let's do 200 miles. And I'll use the shortcut LA to add the entry. And let's take a look. So I don't see the entry got added to my spreadsheet. Let's take a look. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, I know why. Okay, so because the template is an Excel table, and if you don't know what an Excel table is a feature building into Excel to dynamically recognize any new entries or any formatting settings that need to be applied to the entire spreadsheet. But here, let me delete the entry. Right, so this is going to be a little bit more interesting or more complicated, I would say. So what I need to do is I need to go back to the VB window. And here I need to reassign the row insert value. So I'll type row insert is equals to, so use the find method. So first, let me insert the sub range that I want to from the last item. So from that range, I want to locate the last item based on column A. And my first item starts in row number 10. So here I'll insert my cell reference A10 to letter A followed by last row number. That's fine. And to locate any character, regardless whether or not it's a number or a text, we'll use the wildcard symbol, comma, and after cell range, so here we're going to insert that cells, last row, based on column A. And the looking value is going to be X values, comma, comma, comma. And from the choices, we want to select Excel previous. Oops. Close parenthesis, that row. Now the row insert, so this statement right here is going to give me the last entry number. In this case will be 12. And the last row number is going to return cell number, actually not cell number, row number 1010. Now let's go back to the top. And now let's try again. So I'll go to View, Macros, and I'll launch my user form. So for business detail, let's do client meeting. Start location. Let's do San Francisco. And location, let's do Taipei, Taiwan. And notice that my tab sequence is incorrect. So we'll fix that after this. So let me type 200 to the total miles, and I'll use the shortcut Alt-A to insert the entry. And I see the entry got added to here. Let me delete that. And I'll delete this too. Let me see. So here, let me put a break right here. And let me go back to module 1. Here I want to convert the setting to VB Modulus. And this will be VB Modulus. Alright, so here let me put a break right here. And I'll launch the user form. And I'm going to click on Add. So here it's going to give me 12. And my row insert, oh okay. So here's my mistake. I should replace the last row variable with row insert. Let me remove my breakpoint, and I will save the Excel spreadsheet. I will go to View, Macros. So for business detail, let's do client meetings. Oh, and here I forgot. So let's fix the tab sequence. And press F4 to launch the properties window. And if we click on the first text box, and on the tab stop, actually not tab stop, on the, let's see, oh, tab index. So the index starts from 0, so this is correct, and this should be 1. And here we have 7. So let me change that to 1. And this will be 2. And this will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now let me take a look. Okay, now the tab sequence is correct. Alright, so I can so this is going to be meeting. Let's just do meetings. San Francisco, California, Taipei, Taiwan, 200 miles. And I'll use the shortcut Alt-A. And I'll add the entry to my Excel spreadsheet in row number 13. And if I type something in start location and location business details, total miles, let's do 90. And I can click on reset to clear everything. So this is everything I want to share in this video, and hopefully you guys found the tutorial useful. If you have any question or any feedback, please leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.